We're going fishing on Michigan Outdoors with Denny Gerink in rain like this.
Welcome to West Michigan, Fred.
That's right. What we're looking at out here on the water on the Grand River just west of Grand Rapids is 30% chance of rain, and it seems to be doing that quite well. Boy, we thought it would let up here a little bit ago.
It tried to a little bit, but I think we're going to get her back again.
But you know, for the kind of fishing we're going to do, this is great.
Catfish, they like I think this rain will wash a little bait down in the water again, and I think it'll get them feeding tonight. I think we'll have a good fishing tonight.
You do a lot of catfish fishing with your cousin.
You bet.
Right? Terry?
Right.
Terry, how's the fishing been lately?
Oh, it's been slowed off the last week or so a little bit because of the cooler nights. But prior to that, we're doing real well at night.
Yeah, what we're talking about catching is channel cats. There's several types of catfish in Michigan. We have the bullheads, the smaller type of catfish, and then there's a channel cat which grows a little larger and is found in the Great Lakes, and of course the flathead, the big ones. They get up to 35, 40 pounds.
Well, the guy that owns the place here caught a 17-pounder about 2 weeks ago, so there's some big ones in here. But
why is it, Terry, that we're catfish fishing at night?
Oh, they're kind of like deer in a way. They're nocturnal. Right, they move around and do most of their feeding at night. We usually do our best between midnight and 4 in the morning as a rule. But
I'm going to hope that we do real well real early.
Before midnight or 4 in the morning, huh?
That's right, so we don't have to stay out so late. But in this, our first catfish fishing trip on Michigan Outdoors, and the first one that I've ever seen on an outdoor show. You ever seen
Never
one?
seen any, no.
Well, we're going to show you how it's done catfish fishing for some delicacies, really. They're great eating fish. We're on the Grand River west of Grand Rapids. It's thundering, lightning, raining. We don't care because we're going catfish fishing Thursday night right here on Michigan Outdoors. Sounds of the night, crickets, tree frogs, all types of critters out there. And we are anchored here on the Grand River just, a little north of Allendale. Right, Charlie?
Yes, sir.
Charlie Bowles is this fella here who's, what do they call him, Denny?
He's called Catman Charlie. He knows where the catfish are.
Okay, and we're down here, what, is this a deep hole we're fishing or what?
Yeah, we're fishing depth about 10 to 15. It's a little thinner upriver. We like this channel here because it's good sandy bottom, and it provides some good channel catfish.
Well, you know, before you got on the boat when it was still raining and we were getting ready, Denny and Terry showed us all the stink baits and things they like to use, the guts and all that.
Well,
you seem to have a little different idea.
Well, I'm not so much. I don't fish the real dead things. I like
the real dead things.
I like shad bait if they're fresh. I mean, they're dead, but they're fairly fresh and they're frozen, and they put out a good odor in the water.
Okay.
Along with soft shell crab.
Okay, well, this is the shad bait right here, and these come from Indiana.
From Monticello, Indiana.
Okay, and that's a decent-sized hook, no wire leader. We have a sinker here. We're all rigged up the same way, and this is a slip sinker. See, that sinker slips like that, so what happens is the catfish can take the bait and run with it, and it'll go right through the sinker. We let him run a little bit?
Yeah, you like to walk the doggy. That's what it's called.
Walking the doggy. I'm going to try it with the shad. Now, let's see what you have here, Charlie. What your favorite is? You got the
I'm fishing
crawdads?
Soft shell crabs here. These are just molted crabs, and they put out a good odor also.
Okay, now these are dead.
Right.
Well, go ahead, put one on. Let's see how you hook one on. Fishing with live bait, by the way, I think is a lot of fun.
Well, we're just using a true turn crab hook here, just your number 3 true turn. We just kind of hook them through the belly like that and pull that up there and push it right out the back there, and they don't even know what hit them when they pick that up there.
So the catfish will grab that and take off and swallow it?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, now I'll tell you what I like to see here is moving over here to, have you seen Denny put these guts on his, go ahead, Denny.
Yeah.
Let me see this.
Tell you what, I'd rather put what Charlie's got on. It's a lot nicer, but I like the stink bait. We use a size 8 treble hook. And notice how I do this. I don't touch it if I don't have to.
You look like you're at a party having some dip.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
And just kind of wrap it around the hook, gob it down there real good. And like I said, if you got any munchies, you better eat them before you put this stuff on. Isn't that good?
You think
Won't that
that's going to do the job?
That'll do the job.
You keep this in the refrigerator at home?
I do. I don't tell my wife what it is. I just put it in the freezer.
Yeah. Do you know how much bait like this is in freezers and refrigerators of people's homes who are watching this show?
Probably quite a bit.
And the wives don't know?
They're all checking right now.
Don't check. Okay, well, let's get this out, and we let it lay on the bottom. What we're going to do is fish in the dark. We don't have too many mosquitoes out right now, but, OJ, you can cut your light right there. And I'm going to turn this light on I have on my cap, kind of handy, see what we're doing. So let's cast out and see who's the first one who's going to get a channel cat, you know, with these baits.
Let's give her a try.
Okay, Charlie, go ahead. We just all fish off the side here?
Yeah, or on the back there.
All right. Oh! Oh, we do have one.
All right.
Hey, how is it? Pretty good one? Get up here, get enough cable. Holy cow, it's been a
There's a big eel.
12:15. Wow, it's a channel cat.
Hey, we got a catfish.
Okay, that's a little one. A little one. Yeah, that's a good eating size there.
Point, we'll take anything.
Now that hit on the crawdads.
That got on the crab, yeah. He's no world record setter, that's for
No,
sure.
no, that's a little one. But their mouths are really tough. Here, let's hold it up here and get a good look at it. These barbels are the things that it uses going across the bottom, and it can actually taste with those.
Mm-hmm. That's the sensors.
Mm-hmm. And these you don't have to worry about. They don't.
No, it's these right here, these two right here,
And on the back.
and that top one there.
Yeah, now those are actual spines right there, just like.
They can give you a nice infection
Yeah.
too. Did he poke you?
Yeah, no, I just cut along the edge of it right there, but they're sort of abrasive with little.
That's that point that'll get you. Them
Yeah.
little boogers get you better than the big ones do.
Yeah, they have poison in there, but that's good white meat. You say it tastes. You think it tastes like chicken?
Yeah, it's a nice white meat. The smaller ones are. I like them.
Well, that's a channel cat. That's what we're looking for. You can see also the tail on the catfish there is forked like that, unlike a bullhead that is more rounded. Well, good. Where you keep him?
Should we turn him loose?
Turn him loose.
Yeah, you
Hold it,
will.
hold it. Let's talk about this. We have a recipe to do. You know that. We have a catfish recipe. Yeah, we're going to keep him here. Yeah, we better keep him. 3 hours of fishing and only one channel cat in the boat. Now, we thought many times that we had others. In fact, there were some real moments of excitement from time to time. Denny almost lost his rod overboard to a huge strike. And as the night wore on, we all became more sensitive to any little teeny twitch of the rod tip that might indicate a fish on the other end. That's not really the way catfish strike, though. They don't nibble like perch. They pick up the bait, they slam it, they move on. So these rod tips would really bend if a cat was on the other end. And during the quiet and the solitude of the darkness, there were times when all of us quieted down, too. It was very pleasant. Of course, there were other times we had good conversations about a lot of different things. And then, of course, there were Bob Garner's limericks that broke the still of the night at different times. But as you can imagine, there was a lot of bait changing, going from the dried shad to the shad entrails to live minnows, the blood balls and cheese balls and crawdads, a constant search for something to attract those roving catfish in the dark water. And we didn't just change baits either. Every half hour or so, we'd pull up the anchor and drift down to another hole, another bend in the river. Oh, right to the bottom. Okay,
I'm positive. I think
No, it
that's
wasn't.
going now.
Bending it now.
It is?
Yep, you bet.
Okay, well, I've had enough of this. What we were doing here, I got the microphone in my hand and we're getting ready to wrap up this segment and explain why we haven't caught anything to speak of. Let's see. See, I don't have a great deal of faith that it's anything other than a creek chub or something. Well, he's going to have to do a lot better than that. We've been jumping all night at little teeny twitches on the rod tip. Almost imperceptible twitches of the rod tip have become the most exciting event. Let's see, time to check the clock. It's 20 after 3 in the morning. Whose idea was this?
To go catfish fishing?
Yeah.
Yours.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No, I love it. You know, frankly, for spending all this time till 3 in the morning from dark,
Yeah.
from sundown, I think it's really been enjoyable.
It has been. There's no question about it. You know, it's been relaxing, and you couldn't ask for a more pleasant night, and the prospects of catching a big cat, it's worth it.
But Denny, how many times have you been skunked this summer catfish fishing?
This is twice now, and I think maybe they're camera shy or something. I don't know. Last few times out, we haven't got a lot, like we had been getting, but we did get 3 of them the last time we went, and we only were out for 2 hours.
So the heat of the summer is best. One of the big topics of conversation here this evening has been our little lights on our hats, which really are kind of nifty because earlier in the evening there were a lot of bugs and we could see to bait the hooks and so on with these lights.
Yeah, we'd need to bathe the whole area in lights so we'd attract bugs from all over the place.
Right, and these things, this little job comes off. In fact, you can set it down in a tackle box. Kind of a neat idea. A lot of neat inventions that come about that you find out about when you're out fishing. Yeah, it really isn't necessary to dress, go to Brooks Brothers and buy a suit or anything to go catfish fishing.
I would have if it would have gotten us catfish.
We did get a catfish. Charlie, the cat man Charlie, Catfish Charlie here is bringing the one that he caught. Let's take another look at this. This is one of the smallest channel cats. Here, why don't you just scoot right down here, that I've seen. But they are kind of pretty, I think. People talk about how catfish are kind of unsightly. I think the barbels and the fact that they have these spines here that are kind of dangerous maybe put people off.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, that's a nice one. You wanted to throw it back.
Yeah, he was a little small. I thought we'd get some bigger ones this evening.
That's the biggest one of the group.
It's the biggest one of the day.
Now, as to why we didn't catch more catfish than this, we've been discussing this all evening. I don't think we're adequately prepared to explain that right now. We have to further discuss our theories, do a little research, and then I'm going to come back in just a moment and have the definitive explanation of why Michigan Outdoors has been skunked so often this summer. When we think about it, it just seems like we've gotten skunked a lot, but it's only been really twice. Catfish fishing, where we did catch one little one, muskie fishing, where we washed out in Lake St. Clair. But we loaded the boat with walleye down here in Lake Erie. We loaded it with perch here with the Brandstetters off of Au Gray. With Pete Rubianis, we loaded the boat down here in the Southwest. We got one limit off Ludington. We've really done quite well throughout the year. But the thing is, on Michigan Outdoors, we show those shows that we don't catch fish because we want to take you fishing, and that's the way it is. There's been studies done at universities and all the magazines. Nobody has been able to correlate the sun, the moon, the stars, the weather, anything with predicting fishing success. The best anybody can do is tell you how it has been that day, the night before, the week before, and that's about all we can do for predicting the future. For example, the fishing reports that I've gotten from the DNR show me that they've been catching limits of brook trout up here in the western UP, and that's a trend. That's an uptrend on how it's been. 7 to 10 incher limits reported here in Little Bay de Noc. It's been good salmon fishing. That's real early and late in the evening. During the day, try for pike because it's been good. They've been catching some jumbo perch down here in Green Bay. At the eastern end of the UP, try the Detour area. Hot salmon success right there, and a couple new hot spots. The east side of Mackinac Island and 50 to 60 feet of water, also off the Coast Guard station at St. Ignace. Good salmon fishing. Working down on the Coho Coast here, it's been good fishing off Frankfurt. The Betsy, the Platte rivers have Chinook that have moved into the river already, a good sign. But down in the southwest where you think it would be great, well, the wind and the water currents have pushed the fish out in deep water, 150 feet of water. On the east side in Lake Huron, thumbs down, it's been lousy salmon fishing. That doesn't mean that it isn't going to be great tomorrow or this weekend, though. In fact, they had a walleye fishing tournament off Au Gray where the fishing has been hot for walleye. They only took 11 this past weekend. Houghton Lake, they've been catching bluegill. The inland fishing has been getting better and better and better. Tonight, while you folks are asleep, we're all going to go fishing on Muskegon Lake where they've been getting big walleye, 8 to 10 pounders. That's what they've been doing. I can't predict how we're going to do. Can you, Bob?
Well, all I can tell you is we're going to lose some sleep tonight, that's for sure. But I think we should get some master angler walleyes. At least I'm hoping we will. Up in the Upper Peninsula, along the Lake Superior shore, the western half of the UP, a major crisis was averted last week when some Indians claiming rights under the Treaty of La Pointe moved in from Wisconsin. This treaty, by the way, takes in half of the Upper Peninsula, Wisconsin and Minnesota, and they moved in from Wisconsin to an area around Ontonagon and started setting nets for whitefish and lake trout. This is the first time that any band of Indians has come over from any other state to fish in Michigan waters. Luckily, they decided to leave after taking between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds of fish. They moved back to the Bad River, and the crisis was averted. This is something, though, that still could come up in a continuing saga of the Indian treaties up in the northern part of the Upper Peninsula. Now, as far as the other Indian treaties have gone, they have been settled in that Treaty of Washington decision that we told you about several weeks ago. The turkey harvest was down altogether about 19%. That's about 200 birds. The overall success ratio was down 2%. It went from 11%, 1 out of 9 people taking birds last year, to 1 out of 11 taking them this year. That's preliminary data. And many of you have asked me, where is this $4 elk application fee going to go? Does it go to the general fund? No, this is no big boondoggle to beef up revenues to state government. The $200,000 or $250,000 that will be generated will, of course, be going to the Game and Fish Fund for fisheries and wildlife restoration. And DNR Director Ron Skoog is celebrating his first anniversary as DNR Director. Many outdoor writers have of late taken some pot shots at him. We think here at Michigan Outdoors he has done a reasonably good job for his first year as DNR Director. A couple of things to look forward to in the Fish and Game Department for next year. Plans that Ron Skoog has. One is to beef up the conservation officers in this state. And the other thing that he's looking forward to is to increase the revenues to the Fish and Game Fund to continue wildlife and fisheries programs.
Well, with 1 year under his belt, I think if you've read some of the papers, some of the outdoor writers' columns, you'll see that the honeymoon is over for Dr. Skoog, but we wish him well now in his second year. Ed, let's take a look at our mailbag. We got an interesting question, I think, about moose.
From David Dunquist of Ishpeming. He says, have you heard about the Upper Peninsula of Michigan getting any moose from Canada? How many moose do you think we will get, and where do you think they will put them?
Dave, I have heard about it. In fact, I already met the first moose that came here. He's out at the Rose Lake Wildlife Research Station, munching away. He's a 2-year-old, I think about 600 or 700 pounds, Bob. Where will they be planted in Michigan, and how many?
Up around Newberry, it should be 30 moose altogether over the next couple of years. And incidentally, we traded them for 150 turkeys to Ontario. But that area up there is kind of devoid of deer, and there is some habitat that could be filled by moose.
Well, that's going to be something interesting to watch. I think that's been sort of overshadowed, though. You haven't heard much about it because of the big elk hunt coming up in the elk program. Another question, Ed.
From Scott Smith of Okemos. I recently purchased a Hawken muzzleloader kit. That's flintlock style, and I really enjoyed putting it together. My dad and I have gone out to the rifle range and fired it several times. Why is there a separate hunting season for muzzleloaders and regular rifles? I feel that muzzleloaders should be included in the regular rifle hunting season.
Well, actually, Scott, they are included. The muzzleloader that you have, you can use all during the firearm season, November 15th through the 30th, and in the special 10-day season for deer after the regular firearm deer season. So that's a bonus for flintlock people. And, of course, a flintlock rifle, one of the big enjoyable things to many people who use them are not only making the rifle, but all the accessories, equipment, and even the clothing that goes along with this. There's Guy Swan teaching a fellow to shoot a muzzleloader up at the outdoor fair this past August in Houghton Lake. It's quite an experience shooting one because with a flintlock especially, there's a delay. The flint will hit the pan, flash the powder, and then it goes off. They're a lot of fun to shoot, sort of a step back in history.
Incidentally, too, Fred, one of the nice things about hunting with a muzzleloader is you can hunt under your regular deer license. You don't have to purchase a separate license.
Not a separate license, but you do get a bonus season on that. Now, let's go to our outdoor quiz here. Here's a kind of an interesting question about our Great Lakes, something that you might not be aware of. What is the furthest distance you can be from one of the Great Lakes and still be in Michigan? You think that's 85 miles, 125, or can you get 175 miles away? The answer? You're no more than 85 miles from one of the Great Lakes, no matter where you stand in Michigan. The Great Lakes, by the way, are an excellent place to catch channel cats like this. And this may very well have come out of the Great Lakes, Kathy.
Could have.
If it wasn't for City Fish Company in Lansing taking pity on us and donating a couple catfish, we would have been kind of stuck for what we needed for this recipe. What's the name of the one this week in the Club Digest?
Cajun Catfish.
Okay, Cajun Catfish, which you might expect would have some tomatoes and spices.
And bayous, yeah.
And bayous, things like that. Okay, tell us how we make the sauce, Kath.
Okay, melt 2 tablespoons of shortening.
Okay, why don't you put it right here?
Okay, and kind of let it cool off a little bit. 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley.
Fresh chopped parsley, I think, is better than...
Gives it a good taste, good flavor.
Better than the dried.
Okay.
It's almost cooking there a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
Is that okay, do you think?
Oh, yeah. Sure, won't hurt anything.
Okay.
Okay, a can of tomato sauce.
And to this, I'm going to add 2 packages here. One, a package of garlic and herbs, and this is salad dressing, and also blue cheese.
Good way to add the spices.
They're all pre-mixed.
Measure everything out.
This is quite potent and quite concentrated, actually.
Right.
Somebody might want to cut back after tasting this, might want to cut back the amount of garlic that goes in here. Now, when we mix that up, we're going to put that on the catfish. Let's take a look at this big channel cat. This probably came from a catfish farm. Many of them do. But you know why they grow catfish like this on farms? Look at the meat. Very economical, very meaty fish all the way down to the end. There's more meat on a catfish, I think, than any other type of fish that you'll find. The bones are large, which is a big advantage. A lot of people prefer that. Now, this is so large that I'm going to cut it in half, put it in a greased baking dish.
It looks almost like a salmon, as
Well,
meaty
you know,
as it is.
a lot of people say if you fry these up, they taste a lot like chicken.
Oh, really?
You know, it depends on how you cook it, but they do. I've had a lot of bullheads and channel cats. Well, go ahead. We're going to pour this mixture on.
Okay, we want to put some of this inside this one.
Inside there? Okay, why don't you just spoon it out there quickly? And what we're going to do, put a little on the top here.
Right.
Once you take the whole mess, go ahead and pour the whole mess on there. And I'm going to cover it with some Parmesan cheese. And we're going to let this set for a half hour. And then put it in the oven.
For a half hour.
For a half hour and broil it a few minutes at the end. Here's what it looks like when it's done. We just took this one out of the oven. And it is tender,
Smells
flaky,
garlicky.
and tasty. I want to show you something, Kath, though, right now. This is all we could come out with out of our catfish fishing trip. We're going to call this our trophy report. Okay, it was fun out there on the river, catfish fishing. Denny,
Good time.
we had a good time.
You bet.
You got nothing to show for it? Bob's got nothing to show for it. Terry, we got nothing to show for it. I got nothing to show for it. The only guy who caught a catfish was our man, Catman Charlie. But that isn't what really we're going to cap this show with. You had a fish that you told me about, you said is a real winner.
Yeah, we got a big smell out at Grand Haven this spring.
What you heard on the show, what did I say on the show?
You said that reports were spotty on Lake Michigan and that the big ones weren't really out there. So we got this one in the evening there and we thought we'd show it to you.
You kept it in the freezer
Yes,
until
sir.
now. Well, let's see it. Let's see this monster smelt.
He's a little junior Eddie here.
Oh, hey, look at the size of that.
He goes 11 inches. He's 11-inch smelt. He's got large teeth in him.
Teeth, let's see. Probably sort of hard to see with a close-up in here, but this is a smelt. Well, he does have large teeth.
Yes, he does. They're
Boy,
sharp.
yeah, he has a couple in the top there.
Pretty old smelt, we figured.
Wow, that's off Grand Haven, so that's kind of a hot spot?
Yeah, it's been good dipping out there last couple of years. This season we probably dipped about 30 gallons of them.
Isn't that something? The man saves the day by having a smelt in the freezer. Now, how about that?
Bigger than the catfish we caught.
It was. It was. We should pull that thing out here now. Well, that's a great smelt. Why don't you stand up there? Catfish Charlie. This is Catfish Charlie, who did his best tonight.
We
And
tried.
doggone it, we're going to call you Smelt Charlie from now on.
Okay, that sounds good.
Here it is, Cajun Catfish. There's another bite for you, Bob.
Super.
How does it taste?
This is delicious. You know, the meat is real tender, soft. I'd say that this is as good a fish as we've had on the show.
It's different, though, than salmon or bluegill. Different
Oh, yeah.
texture altogether.
Yeah, it is, and I can see where they can make a mistake or say it tastes like chicken. It's really kind of a light white meat. Delicious.
Yeah, in fact, you can see here, well, look at the size of the bones. This will appeal to a lot of people. Large bones in catfish that don't come off in the meat. And here you can see on this side, look at the white meat right in there. A lot like the white meat on chicken even, like they said.
That's so good.
Spicy recipe, though, Kathy.
Very, very spicy.
A lot of garlic in this one.
Delicious.
Cajun Catfish, the last recipe in our Club Digest right here, and you can write for it and get a copy. We'll send it to you. Next week, we start a new Club Digest, except it won't be mailed out for about a week or so later. It's worth waiting for, though.
You bet.
Okay, Ed.
Let's take a look at the Michigan Outdoors Outdoor Calendar.
This weekend, according to the Farmer's Almanac, it's going to have maybe a little rain in the UP, but clear in the southern part of the state. That's as good a prediction as we can come up with. The fishing, I don't know, but the moon is new. A little more moonlight each night, but it should be great for the walleye fishing in Muskegon Lake. That's where we're going tonight, and we'll report on that next week. You know, fishing at night, we might be able to catch a big catfish, maybe as big as this one. This is George Scott's 27-pound, 6-ounce flathead catfish. He caught it on a night crawler at 2 a.m. in the Muskegon River. That was August 3rd of last year. That is the largest catfish of 1983 in Michigan. We just might, trolling for walleye, latch onto something like that. Who knows? Should be a good weekend outdoors. Keep your fingers crossed. I hope you don't get skunked, but don't be too disappointed if you do. It's always great. The outdoors is a great place to be. Labor Day weekend. Drive carefully. Have a safe time, and we'll see you back here next week. Well, Catman Charlie, how come we're going back here with such a slim bucket of fish?
Well, I can't answer that, Fred. I don't know. Usually it's good, you know. August is a pretty hot month for it.
All the predictions were that we'd get 10, 15, maybe some 3, 4, 5 pounders.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Well, we've got a couple 14s down here this year and a 17, and we got a 10.
Have you ever sat home watching Michigan Outdoors when we haven't brought home too many fish, or maybe got skunked and said, hey, if those guys had just come out with me, I'd show them some fishing?
No, you guys...
Those words haven't come out of your mouth?
Nope, you guys always do well.
No, we don't.
I haven't seen you skunk too often.
No, well, yeah, I would probably get skunked as much as any fisherman does.
Well, it does happen. It does happen. I hate to be on the bottom end of a skunk trip, though. I don't know how to explain that.
Well,
my
that's
peers
the
will
way it
be
goes.
looking at me.
Well, hey, we had a good time, though. I tell you, this type of fishing is great.
Oh, we enjoyed having you.